shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
4:30 on this morning, and still tracking some remnant rain, but the worst of the storms passing off toward the east. I'll help you plan for the morning commute coming up in just a little bit.
Speaking of which, closing for the year. The lane closure starting today that will impact drivers in downtown as crews begin construction on the new City Hall building.
NCAA coming this way. The Triangle is hosting 20 games of the tournament this week. Which teams will be playing in our area? Hello, everyone. It is 4:30 on your St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I decided to wear the green. Yeah, and then you're going pretty subtle today.
I muted it just a bit because I knew you were coming strong.
Is that it? Yeah. Leprechaun. And, you know, Chris Michaels also has got the green on for the holiday.
Leprechaun over there, Chris.
Guys, I didn't want to get pinched today. So, starting out kind of gray and gloomy on the St. Patrick's Day. There's a video to the right-hand side from Chris Lovingood that was in Northwest Raleigh, and he said it was pretty foggy. If you see anything like that, you can go to WRAL.com/report it. Still a few scattered showers, especially as you go on the Chatham, Wake, Durham, and Orange County border. Some of the heaviest rain in Northampton County, just northeast of Conway, but we'll see a few of those scattered showers from time to time. Later sunrise still, maybe a little bit of road spray out there, just something to keep in mind for the Monday morning commute. New this morning, we've got some minor flooding along the Neuse River at Smithfield and Clayton. Flooding of both Greenway trails is possible. Aside from that, things will start to turn drier. Speaking of leprechauns, there he is. Temperatures about 60 to 63 this afternoon. We'll show you some of the temperature swings ahead of the first day of spring. That's coming up in a little bit.
As one happy leprechaun. All right. Thank you, Chris. Heads up for drivers. There is a lane closure starting in downtown Raleigh that will last for the rest of the year. The city is going to close a westbound lane on Hargett Street between McDowell and Dawson Streets. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from Hargett Street. And Kelsey, this is all to make room since workers will be working on the new City Hall.
Yes, Renee, starting today, the city will implement that major road closure. So all of the westbound lanes of Hargett Street will be closed between McDowell and Dawson Street. This, of course, comes as the city is working on the new City Hall. So we'll give you a look now at that construction that they're working on. City officials say the new building is about 20% done. They say it will be more convenient for employees and people who live in the area. That's because you can do everything under one roof. Pay bills, receive permits, and attend city council meetings. Now, all the businesses in this area will stay open while this closure is in effect, but the closure is not expected to be finished until the end of this year. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
At least 40 people are dead across the South after this weekend's powerful storms. This is drone video showing just some of the damage left behind in Alabama. 3 people are confirmed dead after a tornado outbreak there. The storm spawned dozens of tornadoes across several states. At least 12 people died in Missouri, where tornadoes left homes and other buildings destroyed. Tornadoes also tore through Arkansas, taking roofs off of homes and knocking others to the ground. President Donald Trump has sent the National Guard there to help people recover from the damage.
Severe weather we saw here caused issues for drivers on I-85 in Durham County. One vehicle hydroplaned on the wet interstate yesterday and crashed into another vehicle. The crash closed part of the interstate at US 70 for about an hour. Some people went to the hospital but are expected to be okay.
On US 1 in Cary, a car hydroplaned, crashing into another vehicle, and police say no one was seriously injured in that accident. Due to the congestion, though, from the crash, there was another crash. A car rear-ended another in that stop-and-go traffic.
In Nash County, the man accused of shooting a 15-year-old in the head, leaving the teen in critical condition, will appear in court today. Investigators say Zachary Bryant called 911 Friday night to report a car break-in. Detectives say shortly after that call, Bryant spotted people who he believed to be responsible for the break-in in another car. He says he fired shots at that car to stop it, but he hit the 15-year-old driver in the head. 4 teens were in the car. Bryant is facing 4 felony charges. The sheriff's office says this was not a legal use of deadly force since the shooting happened off of Bryant's property and he was not in any immediate danger.
Property is never an excuse to use deadly force. That's why it is so important that the public that are carrying firearms, two things you've got to do. Make sure it's safe. The last thing you want to do is hurt one of your family members or have a family member hurt themselves with this firearm, and know the law dealing with it.
Bryant will be in court for a preliminary hearing today. The sheriff's office says charges are pending for the 4 teenagers.
Today in Durham, you can learn more about your property reappraisal and how you can appeal it. An information session is happening from noon to 4:30 at North Regional Library. New appraisals for property owners in Durham started going in the mail at the end of February. Many people are seeing big increases in value and in their taxes. More sessions will be held each weekday until the end of the month, as well as on the first 2 Saturdays in April.
The lineup for this year's Dreamville Festival in Raleigh is expected to drop today. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Dix Park. And Laura, this will be the final year for the festival.
Renee, good morning. We are a little more than 2 weeks away from Dreamville, and today we will learn which artists will be taken to the field here at Dix Park, bringing in those big crowds from across the globe for the 5th and final year. Last year, more than 100,000 festival goers came to Raleigh for the big event. Raleigh raked in $145.9 million in economic impact from Dreamville. And with this being the final year, the local economy will take a big hit from no longer hosting the annual fest. No replacement has been announced for Dreamville. However, organizers with Visit Raleigh previously said that they plan to create a new Raleigh Music Festival. This week, however, will be a major week for the hotel and hospitality industry. Typically, when the lineup of artists is released, the hotel occupancy rate fills up ahead of the festival as people are making their final arrangements to descend upon the city. And we know that we are expecting that lineup again today. It's going to be released around noon. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
NCAA tournament brackets are here, and the road to the championship comes right through the triangle. 4 venues will host games in the men's and women's tournaments this week, and that includes the Lenovo Center, where top-seeded Duke will play its first game in the men's tournament Friday. All 3 triangle women's teams will host games on their home courts. Before all that, UNC's men will play their first game of the tournament tomorrow night, the play-in game, right? The Tar Heels are an 11 seed in the South region. They were the last team to be added to the tournament field with an at-large bid. They will play as part of the tournament's first 4 against another 11 seed, San Diego State. That game will be at 9:10 p.m. That's tomorrow night in Dayton, Ohio. And if they win, they will advance to play 6th seed Ole Miss in the round of 64 on Friday.
Duke enters the tournament as the #1 seed in the East region. They'll play their first game Friday afternoon at 2:50 at Lenovo Center. Their opponent will be the winner of a play-in game Wednesday night between 2 16 seeds, Mount St. Mary's and American University. Duke coach John Shire says star freshman Cooper Flagg will be ready to play after recovering from a sprained ankle.
It's trending in a great way where Cooper will be ready to go right away in the NCAA tournament.
Now, if Duke avoids the upset against the 16th seed, they will play the winner of Mississippi State and Baylor in the second round. That game would be Sunday at Lenovo Center.
On the women's side, Duke, NC State, and UNC are all in the top 16 teams, and that means they will all host first and second round games on their home courts. Duke's a 2 seed. They'll play 15 seed Lehigh at 8 p.m. Friday at Cameron Indoor Stadium. NC State is also a 2 seed. They'll play 15th seed in Vermont on Saturday at 2 p.m. at Reynolds Coliseum. UNC is a 3 seed, so they'll play 14 seeded Oregon State, 4:30 p.m. Saturday at Carmichael Arena.
Spring break mystery. New information on the search of a U.S. college student in the Dominican Republic. What lawyers for the man believed to be the last person to see her are now saying.
Not slowing down. Less than a month left to file your taxes. How the IRS is handling the workload amid recent layoffs.
And here's a live look at Chapel Hill. Severe storms have passed in time for St. Paddy's Day. Meteorologist Chris Michaels will break down the narrow time frame for a quick burst of showers today.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
4:42 on this St. Patrick's Day. We've got the tower lit in green, not just for St. Patrick's Day, but we've got some rain on the radar as well. Dual Doppler 5000 showing you the scattered and light nature of the rain that's pushing into portions of the triangle. Also around Jordan Lake there, you have a few heavier bands up toward Halifax and Northampton counties. Hour by hour, rain chances remain scattered up until 7 or 7:30. Then a little dip in chances. Very brief rise in rain chances between noon and 2. And even at that, those are going to be much more isolated today than what we saw out there yesterday. For your St. Patrick's Day, high temperature of about 61 in the triangle, a little breezy at times. We'll show you when and where we see the potential for some frost this week, and also near 80-degree temps coming up.
Thanks, Chris. We're seeing new video of the destruction in Yemen after the U.S. launched a series of airstrikes across the country. At least 53 people have been killed and 98 injured after the strikes on Saturday, according to the Houthi Health Ministry. President Trump says he ordered the airstrikes on areas held by the Houthi militia. He promised to use overwhelming lethal force until the rebel group stopped attacking boats in the Red Sea. A Houthi spokesperson says they will retaliate.
New developments in the search for a missing U.S. college student who disappeared in the Dominican Republic. The man tied to the investigation is helping police with the search for Sudiksha Kananki. A 22-year-old Joshua Uribe is seen walking on the beach with investigators yesterday, searching the general area where he may have last seen the University of Pittsburgh student. Uribe told police he and Kananki both almost drowned before he helped get her back to shore. He says she was still in knee-deep water when he last saw her, and when he woke up on the beach, she was gone. U.S. authorities say this is a missing persons case, not a criminal case at this time.
We're working to learn what led to a shooting that killed 2 people in Rocky Mount. Police say 27-year-old Tyqueen Sharp and 35-year-old Jotavian Wilkins were killed on East Raleigh Boulevard Saturday night. 29-year-old Keeman Irvin was injured in the shooting. He's been treated and released from the hospital. Anyone with information about this is encouraged to contact Rocky Mount Police.
A Texas man is facing 5 counts of manslaughter after a crash that involved 17 vehicles on a highway in Austin. Federal investigators gave an update yesterday, and the crash happened Thursday night on Interstate 35, runs straight through the middle of the city. A small child and an infant are among the 5 people who died.
At least 59 people are dead after a fire at a nightclub in North Macedonia. Authorities say pyrotechnics inside the club started the fire early yesterday morning. Many who died were trampled. More than 150 other people are hurt. The ages of the victims range from 16 to 24. At least 15 people associated with the club have been detained by North Macedonian authorities. The country is observing a week of mourning.
The deadline for you to file your taxes is now less than a month away. Despite the recent challenges the IRS has faced, tax professionals say they are not seeing any problems with people filing their taxes or getting refunds. The agency, like many other government departments, has faced upheaval since the Trump administration took over. About 6,700 probationary employees lost their jobs last month, and several top executives have left their positions. Experts warn while the system seems to be working fine right now, more reductions in force could have an impact, especially when it comes to taxpayer services.
We expect to learn this week who the next chancellor of NC State will be. The full UNC System Board of Governors will meet tomorrow at 9:30. The board says they will elect a chancellor for NC State, and a report from 24/7 Sports cites multiple sources saying Kevin Howell will get the job. He is currently the Chief External Affairs Officer for UNC Health. Before that, he served as NC State's Vice Chancellor for External Affairs. He is also an NC State alum. Howell would replace Randy Woodson, who announced his plan to retire about 8 months ago.
4:47 the time right now. There's some wet spots out there, certainly on your Monday morning. And Elizabeth Gardner has the day off. But we go to Chris Michaels right now, and it rained a lot yesterday in a lot of places.
Especially Wake and Johnston counties, especially as you went east of downtown Raleigh. I mean, Willow Spring, about 4 inches of rain. Clayton, more than 3 inches. Wake Forest and Apex, between 2 to 3 inches of rain. And so we're seeing a little bit of that minor flooding along the Neuse River in Johnston County. Now, the showers are much lighter. You see that around Jordan Lake, around areas like Pittsboro, up through Hillsboro, Chapel Hill, Durham. A few scattered showers in Franklin County, also in the southeastern part of Wake County, but this is not going to be nearly as heavy or as widespread as what we saw out there yesterday. Futurecast showing around 6 a.m. You see that narrow band of showers near into the east of US 1. It lasts us up until about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we start to see the clouds filling back in after a brief break in the overcast. After about 12:30, 1 p.m., maybe a stray shower, but generally speaking, drier air is going to come in on some breezy winds today. Overnight, we'll clear the sky out and we'll start to turn much colder. Hour by hour for your St. Patrick's Day, again, between about 9 and 11 a.m., we're mostly dry. Temperatures mid to upper 50s. Between noon and 2, maybe a stray shower. High temperatures today in the lower 60s. And then by tomorrow morning, you notice the chance for some frost is going to be pretty patchy, especially as you go north of the Sandhills. Just a reminder that we do still get these little cold snaps this time of year, but that's not going to last terribly long. Here we go into Tuesday afternoon, high temperature of 72. So tomorrow is going to be one of those tricky days for trying to dress for the weather. Then as we head toward Wednesday, you notice the wind starting to come in out of the southwest, pumping some warmth back in. High temperatures near 80 degrees. Wednesday, the final day of winter, it's not going to feel like it there. Thursday, we've got another front coming through that gives us the chance for some showers. We'll detail that in the next half hour of news coming up at 5 o'clock. But you notice as we head throughout the week, you get those ebbs and flows in the temperatures. After Thursday, it'll be briefly cooler Friday, then another spike in temps heading into the weekend with the chance for some additional showers. But guys, right now doesn't look like anything quite as active as what we saw out there yesterday.
All right, a relief there. Chris, thank you. Lighting up the sky. New video of the lightning from those severe storms to the southeast over the weekend.
Yeah, box office battle, the action movies that went head to head at the theaters. Three is the time right now, so we'll give you this live look right down Salem Street in Apex here. It's mild out there, to say the least here. Temps in the 70s in a lot of parts of our viewing area, but as you can see, the roads are a little bit wet right now and could be a little patchy fog in some areas.
Take a look at this. Video shows those severe storms moving through Atlanta, bringing lots of lightning with it. You can see all those lightning strikes lighting up the sky there. Very definitive.
The Holly Festival at Garland Court in Durham is postponed because of severe weather. People all over the world take part in Holly festivals each year, and they originated in India as a way to welcome spring. Holly festivals feature dance performances, colorful powders, and food, and the Durham Festival will now take place next Sunday from 1 to 5 p.m.
Lady Gaga is topping the charts, and a cult classic is getting a remake. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
Choose the road on the west side as the dust flies. Watch it burn.
Lady Gaga is back on top. Her new album Mayhem debuted #1 on the Billboard 200 with her biggest streaming week ever. It's the first time she's led that chart since her 2020 album Chromatica.
Now the youth of tomorrow must travel across the stars to defend our world.
Sony is re-enlisting in Starship Troopers. Nearly 30 years after Paul Verhoeven's over-the-top military movie, Columbia Pictures has drafted District 9 and Elysium filmmaker Neil Blomkamp to write and direct a new version. He'll reportedly draw on Robert A. Heinlein's original 1959 novel, not the 1997 adaptation. Beethoven on the big screen. The Met in HD Fidelio scored at the specialty box office, grossing more than $860,000, playing just one night in about 800 theaters. Encore U.S. screenings are planned for Wednesday, so if you missed the first night, you have another opportunity. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Morgan Freeman's newest role was the starter at NASCAR's race.
Morgan Freeman! Gentlemen, start your engines.
Hey, way to get pumped up about that, right? A lot of fans on social media said NASCAR's Las Vegas race deserved some more enthusiasm, but others reminded them, hey, that is an iconic voice.
It's rather deadpan.
I know.
All right. Well, covering Wake County, a new greenway opens today in Holly Springs. The Middle Creek Greenway connects two major thoroughfares, Sunset Lake Road and Holly Springs Road. Officials say they eventually plan to connect it to a greenway in Apex as well. A ribbon cutting ceremony will happen this morning at 11 at the trailhead on Lockley Road. Everyone is invited and asked to wear green to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Town officials plan to set up pots of gold along the greenway for people to win prizes. How fun.
A man with multiple lives went up against a man who feels no pain at the weekend box office. Novocaine, starring Jack Quaid, took in about $8.7 million over the weekend. Movies across the board were rather lukewarm in viewing, with Mickey 17 and Black Bag in second and third place at the box office. This past weekend was expected to be the lowest grossing box office weekend of the year.
Dozens of tornadoes, severe storms leave death in their wake after sweeping across the southeast. New video of the aftermath in places like Alabama and Missouri.
And we put the NC in the NCAA tournament, the venues across our triangle that'll host 20 of the teams.
And final Dreamville Fest. The announcement expected today as Raleigh prepares to host the music festival one final time.